Percy, it's hard not to clearly notice that you're quite distressed, and we're concerned. And you know, we kind of were talking about it, not that we were talking about you or anything behind your back or anything, but you know, we never really found out why you were in that prison cell.
We've never questioned it before. We've never wanted to make you uncomfortable, but we're about to walk into a party, and I feel like we need a bit of a history lesson.
I know you're right.
Should we guess? Was it public nudity?
A bit. I've never had to say this out loud before. I've never actually had this discussion with anyone.
It's okay. It gets better.
Do I get an inspiration die for that?
I'll give you a D6 inspiration.
The Briarwoods, Lord and Lady Briarwood, are responsible for the death of my entire family.
Oh.
Whitestone was my home. Many years ago. I don't want to get into the details. I came from a big family. I came from a proud family. One night, they were invited in to our home, and over the course of that night, they slaughtered everybody. They are evil. They are corrupting. The few survivors of Castle Whitestone who did survive only survived through deceit and by working for the Briarwoods, turning on their masters. Thankfully, the Derola family still has standing elsewhere, and there's other branches of the family other than my father's. I was lost for quite a while after that happened. I had nothing else in my life other than my family. I was never really going to inherit anything. I wasn't going to run anything. I was idle. And at some point I made the decision that I was, if nothing else, I survived to maybe extract some vengeance, maybe set something right, maybe stop whatever it was they were doing. I don't know. I don't know. There was one of their party, Dr. Ripley. She was in charge of something during the murder. I don't know what. I chased her. I chased her down. It took a year. And I had my gun. And I discovered where she was and where she was working on some ruins. And I approached her. And I never even saw her face. Her guards captured me, beat me up. Didn't even bother taking my things. They just threw me in that dungeon. I never even got close enough to see her face.
You know her name, but you've never seen her before.
I saw her when she was interrogating me in my home.
So you could recognize her?
Oh, yes.
How did you get away when they... with the rest of your family?
My sister Cassandra, my younger sister, I see somehow evaded capture. I don't know. She set me free. I don't know what became of her. I don't know what became of any of my siblings. Probably not. Nothing reasonable, nothing good.
You witnessed none of these deaths?
I saw bodies, of a few of them. It's all a bit shady. It's all a bit of a blur.
How many years ago was this?
4 now, 5 now.
If you know that they murdered your family, how are they still part of society?
I don't know. I could have gone home at any point at this point. I just I'm scared.
Did they take over Whitestone? Are they still there?
I discovered approximately a week ago that they're still at Whitestone.
Will they recognize you?
I don't know.
And these pricks are in good standing with the council.
Thrown into that dungeon, I came to a realization that maybe I wasn't doing this the right way. I wasn't being responsible, and I prayed to whatever it is I pray to, that maybe I would have a sign of what I should be doing. And then there you were. I've been trusting that Vox Machina will take me where I need to go. And maybe what I need to do is confront this, but I don't know what this is. And I'm terrified.
Should we interrogate them first? Find out more about your family.
Or just skip ahead to the dead.
I put down my gun and I turn the barrel. And on the barrel is, of the 6 barrels, 5 of them have names.
Ooh, shit.
And Lord and Lady Briarwood are 2 of those names. Dr. Ripley is another.
What are the other ones?
Sir Stonefell is the other, and Professor Anders is the other, and then there's one blank one.
Are they all members of the same party?
Yes.
They travel with the Briarwoods.
I don't know.
So Carrion Stonefell, who's he?
He was the captain of their guards.
And Professor Anders, who's that?
Professor Anders was my teacher. He was my tutor. And he was in collusion with them, and he's the one who, I believe,
Allowed them in?
allowed them to take the castle in the night.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Jeez. I had 6.
You might
Sisters.
have 6. We don't know what happened to them.
Still, yeah.
You said you saw a few bodies of families. Do you remember which? Did you?
It's all very much a blur. It's things. The things you just forget.
Well, this is certainly tragic. But looking forward, what do we know of this meeting, event, party? What are we doing?
Well, I think we need to do some
Recon?
spying.
Well, have we? Do they know Percy's among us?
That's the thing. I don't know if they do.
You
And-
don't have to get involved in this. if
Oh,
you
we
don't
are.
want.
So
we are
involved in this.
one.
Yeah, we do. You said you want them dead.
We've got your back, darling.
First of all, you don't really have a choice in the matter. My sister and I know a little piece of your pain. I'm not going to get into it, but there's nothing she and I can do. We can find reparations for you. We will.
Percy,
Thank you.
is this what you want?
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Percy, if we see them and we're not ready to show our faces, will you be able to contain yourself?
I think so.
And would they be able to recognize your face?
Yes, that's
Which
need
is
to
why I was
disguise
planning on. I know we have a cap of disguise.
Yes,
I was
we do.
planning
We
on-
do.
Scanlan has
I've
it.
got one.
I don't even know if they would recognize me at this. My hair is different and
Less purple.
less purple.
I see a shiny tool. I don't know what it does.
You reach over and grab it, and it's a large set of tongs that looks used for gripping large, heavy pieces of metal, either for the actual forge itself or to bend and manipulate on the workbench.
I take it. Put it in the bag of holding.
Make a sleight of hand check.
You're stealing from the workshop that you
There
partially
are lots of
own?
cool stuff in there.
You're stealing from a crying
What is
man.
it, Jack?
You're stealing from the crying.
First sleight of hand. Oh, huh.
17.
My passive
Perception is.
Snap.
perception is 21.
You see Grog slip this away into his
No,
pouch.
this could
Do
be
you do
funny.
anything?
Let this happen.
I give him the evil eye.
She gives you the evil eye.
It hurts. I put it back.
That was fast.
What? Out of curiosity, what did you pick up? What did it look like?
It was a big thing of tongs. I didn't know what it did. I just wanted it.
It was a big thing in tongs.
Of tongues.
You got all the
What
cool
would I
stuff.
have to roll to find out if it was covered in like some basic basic sulfuric acid? It was just like if it was one of the things I was using for like for casting.
Oh, interesting. Well, you know your tools very well in your workshop, and yeah, the metal is scarred and pockmarked from use with various corrosive chemicals.
It'll take about 10 minutes to take effect. All right. How many minutes has it been? I'm wondering if his hands are starting to itch yet.
About this time, you start to get this weird tingling sensation around your fingers.
Do they crave blood?
No, they crave some sort of an agent that will prevent the now slight burning sensation on the skin.
Ow. Quick question. Sorry. I kept something from falling in the shop. Really quick reflexes. It's making my bits tingle. Do you have anything for that?
You haven't been scratching yourself, have you?
No. I had that before. Not the same thing.
I don't know. There's a bucket of water in the corner. You can try that.
I go over to the bucket of water and I stick my hands in the water.
It'll make it worse.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Does make it worse.
It does. The slight burning sensation now is turned into a very vibrant, burning white hot on the skin, and you look down and you can see bits of the skin starting to peel back a little bit, revealing the lower layer.
Hand him a small bag of powder. Now you've learned not to touch things if you don't know what they are. Here's
What
the
do I
bag.
do with the bag of powder?
Pour the powder on his hand.
It kind of foams up a little bit in places, but it is neutralized.
Yeah.
You're a good friend.
It's gold bond.
Can I leave now?
Oh, yes.
I'll go to the kitchen to eat.
Okay. As she turns, all of a sudden there's a large, vibrant, white flash of light and a sound from the back room. The beaded curtains kind of shift for a second, and you hear heavy footsteps. And pushing through the beaded curtain, you see before you, with a bead of sweat on his head, Gilmore. I'm so glad you came back.
Gilmore!
I'm sorry, I was out and about running some business.
You didn't
ways
have
away.
to go to all that trouble to come back here.
How could I? Missing my fight. There's not as many of you as usual.
No, we're seeing to different bits of business. I turn back to him, I walk forward with hands out. I walk up to him, take him by the head, give him a good European-style kiss, just about here, right there. Come back and say, there is so much to talk about.
Oh, yes, there
Where
is.
can we be alone?
He looks over at the rest of the group. Well, I mean. But of course.
See to whatever business.
We'll just peruse, yes.
Yes.
We'll window shop.
Yes.
I'm going to sketch this.
He walks back through the beaded curtain, kind of giving this look over his shoulder. As he does, as the curtain kind of falls behind him.
Those beads.
Oh, jeez.
I just
Whoa.
walk right in and follow him in.
All right.
Have a smell.
As he comes out and takes the books and slides them back and says, well, if that's how you feel, perhaps these could return to those university students that perhaps left them by. I should put these in the lost and found.
Sherry, if I may. What Keyleth was trying to say was that she never got a chance to go to college and that she wanted to feel like she wanted to get that university experience.
Good luck.
Well, that didn't work. Hey, can you serve me now?
Scanlan!
What?
Will you buy those books for me and I'll reimburse
I can hear you. I'm right here.
Walk away.
Also, I know Gilmore is otherwise entertained. Can you try to identify something for me? Do you have that? I mean, judging by the glint in your eye and the beauty in your heart, I'm sure you have many skills I don't know about.
I'm Mr. Reynolds.
But I'm wondering if you could identify this small red vial with a floating something in it that I procured quite some time ago.
She looks at you and goes, you've been good patrons, and you've been much kinder to me than others.
Did you
We'll
just
put this
wink?
one on the house.
Good job.
We'll call this on the house. And she takes the vial,
Reynolds.
sets it down, and she pulls out another book that she kind of shuffles through, puts it up there, starts coming through pages and kind of looking through. This here would be a potion of fire breath. When imbibed, should give you a temporary time period, the ability to breathe fire, much like a relatively young dragon.
Excuse me. As soon as they left, Trinket and we left, and I went to the nearest shop and bought a lot of pink ribbon. And I have been furiously tying bows all through Trinket's hair the entire time they've been gone.
Actually, I'll help with that campaign.
Yeah.
I do some braids.
Yes.
I do some braids.
Yes.
And add some flowers.
Teeny tiny little braids.
Little tiny braids.
Keyleth has been weaving flowers in, and I have been knotting braids, started at the head, and then worked all the way down Trinket's back and down the tail the entire time, feverishly.
I come up for lunch. Keyleth, can I borrow you for... What in good God?
Is it important? Do you need me right now?
Listen, don't argue it.
Pretty important.
Is Trinket comfortable with this?
He's so comfortable. Look, I gave him plenty of treats. He doesn't even know what's happening.
Boy.
This mournful, low, guttural growl. If you're pretty sure it translates to whoa.
I feed him a piece of chocolate at that moment.
Don't give him chocolate.
It's a dog.
Licks it off.
Doesn't matter.
Sitting there, scratches his balls a little.
Sorry.
Since the rest of the
When you have a
chocolate.
moment.
You make him sick.
Pretty bad.
When you have a moment.
All right.
Pretty bear.
10 more minutes. I'll be down in 10 minutes.
It takes about 10 minutes before the keep doors open and the rest of your party returns.
And I run
Right,
downstairs
camera
really fast.
Side note, I let Trinket give me bear kisses all over my face. Vex never lets Trinket kiss her face, and it's so sad.
His breath is terrible.
And I let him just blubber all over my face.
Disgusting.
Everywhere.
At this point in the discussion, you guys all look up and see, sitting in the center of the main foyer area of Grey Skull, a very mighty bear, brought down low, sitting covered in pink ribbons, looking forward, going,
Wow.
See, I told you it was a girl.
Trinket, you look so cute. Oh, I know she'd love it. We need to get these off of you immediately. But you look really, really, really cute. And I scratch his little.
Oh, let him sport it for like it.
How dare-
You look over too.
Vex.
There are traces of chocolate smears across the face of Vax.
Why don't you disguise yourself as...
Burt Reynolds.
what about Vax? And he can sneak in. And we should have some sort of a... I know it's a few days off, but we should have some sort of safe word, some sort of attack word.
Well, also, we're not hired to
Grog,
kill
any
the
suggestions?
Briarwoods.
Jenga.
Jenga.
Great.
Jenga.
Jenga it is.
Jenga it is.
I know
I
that
like that.
place.
We're not hired to kill the Briarwoods, and not to be that member of the group that, has a golden heart and wants to ruin everyone's fun. I don't want to stand in between you and your revenge that you are absolutely owed, Percy. But are you sure this is what you want? Is this going to make you feel better?
I don't know what I want. I want to see them. I want to look at them. I want to see them.
Do you want to talk to them?
No. I want to listen to them.
Then we follow your lead.
I saw things. And
Should we just
Shall we prep
prepare?
for 6 days and get it on?
Yeah, let's get
do
it.
it?
Alright, so prep for 6 days over
And
the
I've been training Trinket though. Does that help?
Go ahead.
I've been reading my alchemy books.
How many days? 6
No.
days?
I
Check
went
some beer checks.
to get business cards.
Right. It'll cost you 25 gold for 100 flyers.
Half of the... I'm going to get
6
two sets.
checks?
One says Scanlan Shorthalt, one says Burt Reynolds.
Okay, both have been constructed without question.
I repaid my debt to Gilmore.
All right, that is paid. Mark off that gold.
There's nothing left.
Ah, yes!
How many is that?
That's
He's
4.
rolled
And
4.
what, 5 total, right?
Right.
This is funny. So it's 17, 15,
Oh, and I-
6,
12.
45, 55, a 1, and a 95.
You rolled
Okay.
one.
By the end of this week, you have grown what is a rather majestic, full chin beard, matching all over. You were probably the first Goliath to have
Does it have
facial
a
hair, let
mustache
alone
too, or is
white
it-
that strong. No, it's a full like we're talking Portland man.
One
Portland
moment, though.
man!
One
Oh
moment.
no, oh no, oh no.
Another thing that I did
Brew coffee.
was go off and get some like a lathering cream.
Okay.
And
You're
on
not.
the second to last night, after I took Grog out to the tavern,
Oh no!
I bought him a lot of drinks.
You didn't
I assume dodge.
I didn't shave off his whole beard.
Don't shave off any of it.
Only
That's
half
so
of it.
Mean.
I just became the most
No.
handsome man in the
Right.
Do
world.
not shave his fucking beard off.
This much.
Make
Make a stealth check.
A stealth check first.
Yes.
Make,
Oh my god,
Make a
he's
perception check.
so
You're
mad
a
at
terrible
you.
person.
Make a perception check.
I have
You
advantage.
just broke a mechanical pencil.
Did you? Oh my god!
I'm so mad at you.
DM.
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 20.
No, you-
All right. I have advantage on stealth checks, and I rolled an 18 and a 20.
All right.
Natural 20.
So, sleeping soundly, drunk.
You are so mean.
Do not hear the approach of Vax. As you pull out your blade and get ready, I want you to go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
Oh my god.
Still gotta do it.
After
You
the
got in the
20?
room.
You're
Wow.
stealthy.
One thing you're not being noticed, it's another to shave someone's face without being noticed. This is
Yeah.
about stillness of fingers,
Yeah.
not just how quiet or stealthy you
Oh,
can
I
be.
hope you know.
I'm using luck. Okay, so I rolled a 21.
Roll a perception check,
Hey,
Rob.
Yes, I did.
where's your sleight of
Advantage, because this is against your
9
face.
plus 12. 21.
This is against your face.
Can you rage?
Fuck. I have 3 a day.
13.
Ah!
21.
All right.
Why are you so evil?
Why did he trip me making
Why
me
do
eat
you-
shit 2 months ago?
Why do you?
It's an
As the-
appetizer of things to come, my friend.
The crowing sound
Remember
of the
when
distant
we hated-
roosters on the outskirts
And we just made up.
the farmlands that surround the outside of Iman, which are relatively close and within earshot. The morning sun rises, cresting over the
pendulum swings.
eastern skyline of Taldore. Grog, you come to consciousness. Stretch, reach up to rub half a beard.
Half a beard,
Half a beard.
like just one side of my
One
face.
side of your face.
I say in a low,
Do we even
guttural
have
growl.
You have no idea it was me.
Vax. I didn't have to wake up to know it was you,
Make an
motherfucker.
intelligence check. Make him make an intelligence check.
Oh, we all know it was you.
I
You very
I reach down, I find a dark stone. I find a dark stone on the ground, and I go over to the bare side of my face and I draw a very beautiful mustache to complete the other half of it.
Alrighty.
He is dumb as a post. Why does he know that?
Because you're the only fucking idiot stupid enough to do that.
Magic is mysterious. Why couldn't you grow half a beard due to magic?
He's already
No,
grown
maybe
4 days on a full beard.
maybe I don't know. Let's say I assume.
So, over the next few days, you've constructed what amounts to a large metallic gauntlet. You have taken this gauntlet and wired all through it insulation and metallic insulating tips, and what is essentially a small type of, for lack of a better term, an alternator of some kind.
I'm just gonna try and sneak in a few bullets during that.
That's the fifth roll is going to be that. So you have constructed this device. The quality seems fair. It's untested technology. It's just something that's a brainchild of your own, utilizing Keyleth's aid. Keyleth, I'm going to have you roll ahead and just roll a wisdom check.
All right.
Just roll that at 5.
You got this.
Well, add my just my base wisdom.
Base wisdom plus 5. Plus 6 would be. Sorry.
Is plus 6, so 20 total.
20 total. You step out and you sit it down in the middle of the courtyard. Keyleth, you summon a storm that slowly gathers above the top of the keep. You guys start hearing sounds like rolling thunder outside, and you come and look, and you see Percy and Keyleth are out standing in the middle of the courtyard. Keyleth with their arm up in the air as this black, dark storm cloud begins to slowly swirl above the entirety of Grey Skull Keep. With that, she brings her hand up and then brings her fist down as a bolt of energy streaks down from the clouds, slamming into a small object on the ground that gets flung about 15 feet in a random direction, tumbles to the ground. You rush over to grab it, and you can see arcing over the metal a couple of these small electric arcs. You reach over and wait a second, you kind of prod it, pick it up, and it's hot, and you drop it instinctively. You give it a few minutes to cool off. You pick it up when it's warm enough, you put it on, and there is essentially this large kind of sparking metal centerpiece that's giving off this low hum. Course of it. A little bit of the energy that was stored in there appears to dissipate. You figure there's only a few applications of this before it needs to be recharged, and every single time it's utilized, there is a low chance that it may
Like everything I make it could
detonate or crumble or something bad may happen.
Percy, that's amazing. What do you call it?
That was awesome.
I call it diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
That's great.
All right. The morning has come to fruition. You have a few hours before you're supposed to arrive at the palace. You have been notified that this is a very formal event.
We'll need fancy robes.
Yes.
Do we have any
We have
more?
formal
Oh,
gear.
we have some formal
bullet roll
dresses
off.
We
already.
do.
Bullet roll,
We do.
please.
We do. We went shopping.
We went shopping. We already have pretty dresses.
23.
planned
You
ahead.
managed to construct 20 pieces of ammunition from 20 units.
Do I still have the finery I wore to the Velvet Cabaret?
You would, yes.
Yeah. All right. So we have to worry about you, Grog. We have to get you.
Are there any tapestries or curtains in the castle?
There are, actually.
I walk up to the prettiest one, and I rip it down, and I throw it over myself like a toga. It's like Sound of Music.
It's pretty good.
It, in a, foreigner in a foreign land kind of way, could work.
And I practice my curtsy. Because I've seen Vex and Keyleth do it. So I think everybody does it.
Nothing had happened.
I reach into the bag of holding and I take out a little goblet and I pour some ale in it. And I walk over to Vex and I go, here you go.
This looks very good. Thank you, Grog.
You're welcome. Would you
Delicious.
like more?
No, I don't want to cloud my thinking before we go up against the Briar.
Probably smart. I'll take that back.
Sure, here you
And
go.
I crush the goblet in my
couldn't
hand.
drink another.
This crinking metal sound, the
Oh
goblin is now
no!
destroyed.
What happened?
As you guys finish talking with the front guard that you've arrived, Seeker Assum steps out of the front of the palace and kind of sees you.
Very good. Glad you could make it. Please, enter. I wish to speak with you briefly before the event this evening.
Of course.
Wonderful.
Are you missing anyone?
Oh, yes, Percy wasn't feeling very well. He ended up staying home.
Yeah, the runs.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely.
However, if you need us to act, just utter the word Jenga.
Yes.
Jenga.
Oh, and then I also make a matching corsage and pin it on his lapel as well.
As you do, he kind of looks down at it and goes, "Thank you, it's not my color."
It's just, oh, fine, it's fine.
I appreciate the offer, but my theme goes with browns and blacks so as not to be seen. This
I mean,
is
it
a
might
bit
have
bright for
had
my
more
tastes.
utilitarian purpose, but it's fine, it's fine.
A dark wood carriage flanked by 4 armored men on horseback pulls onto the road right before the Taldori Palace. A young man steps from the front of the carriage and opens the door. Stepping out, you see a strong, tall man in the nearby lantern light. Short brown hair frame a very chiseled and handsome face, adorned with a well-groomed goatee. His clothing is based in blue and black, fitted elegance trimmed with golds and red, a strip of gray fur cresting over one shoulder framing his torso. He turns and extends his hand towards the door, where a feminine gloved hand finds it. A beautiful woman steps out after him, her hair dark auburn and pulled up into a tight braided bun, resembling some sort of a glamorous schoolteacher almost. Her gown is in the same color scheme as the man, if a bit heavier blue than black, and a long billowing skirt tapers up to be form-fitted across her body, continuing upward to wrap her neck nearly to the jaw. They both turn to face the greeting party, bowing slightly as 2 of their companion guards flank their approach up the steps. The other 2, helping the young man who steered the carriage, carry the rather large bags behind them. This is Lord Silas Briarwood and Lady Delilah Briarwood. You make your way into the Grey Hall, which is, it seats a vast number of people. There are 5 major tables meant for large feasts, but there is one central square table on the far end that is by this giant hearth. This fireplace is probably a good 6 feet high and about 12 feet wide. It's a grandiose visual on the far end of this hall, and there's a long table right there set for about 20 people. You don't know if there'll be that many there at the table, but it can seat that many. At which point, all the different members of the council have their seats around it.
I assume I sit at the kitty table because I'm so tiny.
They've got a booster chair for you.
Oh,
Scanlan.
good.
They do have adjustments for gnomish guests. That's
a fun
way of putting it. All right. After you guys sit for a few moments, another servant steps forward and says, "Please, if we might rise for our guests, Lord and Lady Briarwood, to join us at the table."
I am risen already. I'm standing already.
Lord and Lady Briarwood now enter arm in arm, slowly walking from the far end of the great hall. They make their way to one end of the table. They both wordlessly sit down smiling and acknowledge everyone at the table. There's a moment of silence, and then another servant says, "And would all, please, attention be given to our sovereign, Uriel Taldore II, and the Empress Salda Taldore." At which point, the sovereign and his wife enter from the same entrance point. Everyone stands up from their chair, waits for them to get to the edge of the table, at which point they kind of nod their head. Everyone gives a low bow. You guys kind of follow suit. At which point Uriel looks about the table with a smile. His shoulder-length brown hair and his kind of chin goatee, very well crafted into almost like a point now. He looks about the table. "Thank you, Lord and Lady Briarwood, for making the journey across the lands so that we might meet in person finally. Please, allow me to introduce our dining party and esteemed council of Taldore." And he goes around the table introducing Arbiter Brom Goldhand. He is the master of law of our city and is responsible for maintaining all of these grand people of our fair town in the realm of safety and order. We have Lord Riskel Daxio. He is our head of planning and construction, has overseen many of the expansions of the city, and is a trusted friend of mine. We have the Arcanist Allura Vysorin, one of my trusted advisors, one of the greatest arcane minds of all of Taldore, and the overseer of all things arcane within our city. We have the Guardian Torfor Brotoris, a fierce warrior, and currently the master of defense in our city, and hopefully for a long time to come. And Torfor kind of gives like a sound. Everyone's kind of put off by it, but they're also seemingly used to it. Arbiter Brom Goldhand, Master of Law, my lovely wife, the Empress Salda. We have here within our midst as well Vox Machina, a team of intrepid adventurers who rose up and saved mine and my family's life, and very well the city of Iman, and have since proven very useful to our territory. Grog Strongjaw, a Goliath of interesting dress, but strong of heart and blade. We have Vexalia, half-elven maiden with a bow as swift as the fastest eagle. Looking next is, we have here Vaxeldan, blades quick and eye is sharp. Not a whisper passes his ear. Ah, there you are. Scanlan Shorthalt, performer known far and wide. A wit as clever as you've ever seen. His songs are whispered through taverns across the land. We have over here Keyleth of the Ashari, if I'm correct on that. She is a denizen of the natural lands and protector of all things nature within Taldore.
Hi. Could I inquire to Lady Briarwood?
You're saying this out the conversation comes to you.
Yes, of course. I'm so sorry. What was your name again?
Vexalia.
Vexalia.
Yes.
Absolute pleasure to meet you.
You as well. I noticed your dress is quite lovely.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like a fashion that I'm used to seeing. Where do you hail from originally?
We hail from Wildmount. It's quite a ways from here. The continent to the far east.
Really, I'm not familiar.
You should come by sometime. We haven't been home in a number of years, having to tend to Whitestone. But we have quite an elaborate homestead there. we'd love to have you come stay with us if you ever find yourself that side of the world.
I would love to visit.
That would be a
How
pleasure.
long have you been at Whitestone?
We've been at Whitestone for the better part of, I can't even remember. And Lord Briarwood looks his best I can recall, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5
It's an
years.
unfortunate mantle to pick up, but we've done what we can in honor of the past Dorado family.
Lord Briarwood. Down
Yes.
here. Yes, hi.
I'm sorry, he snaps and a servant moves a large, pig platter out of the way that was blocking your head from his
You
vision.
can move that over here, actually.
Oh, should we eat already?
Lord
Good.
Briarwood, we may share a mutual friend or acquaintance of some sort. My father was a prominent doctor, and he may have studied medicine with a fellow that you know named Dr. Ripley? Dr. Ripley? Do you know such a person?
Yes, actually, Dr. Ripley is one of our esteemed physicians in Whitestone.
Oh.
Yes, recently come onto some land herself, although she has been on holiday for some time.
Oh.
Following her own research, as doctors are wont to do.
Are you close with her?
I wouldn't say close, but she's been at friendly times, and she was one of the few that came with us from Wildmount over to Whitestone, and has helped us restructure and maintain and help facilitate the blossoming of a city without a leader.
She sounds wonderful. Well, when you see her next, tell her that my father, Dr. Jeff Shorthalt, said hi.
Jeff Shorthalt, I will be happy to pass that along.
Lord Briarwood. Okay. I'm not familiar with Whitestone. How did you become caretaker of such a place?
At which point, one of the other council members kind of goes like, and puts his hand out, and it's all right, and he kind of pats the hand of his wife. She looks over at you with a smile. We know not if it is connected with the disease, but before all this occurred, we became very close friends with the Dorado family about 10 or so years ago. Actually, the first time we met was kind of an interesting tale. If you want to tell it, please. And his wife goes, all right. So, well, they were taking a brief vacation east to Wildmount. Apparently they had not traveled, and they brought their family with them, a whole gaggle of small children. And they were coming this direction. Now, our homestead's on the western outskirts of Wildmount, so we're one of the first places you traverse before going into the kingdom proper. However, the family, the Dorado family, had been caught in a bad downpour, a storm that had blown in, and made travel rather impossible. And apparently they just stopped not far from our homestead. They came to our front door asking for shelter for the evening, and we were happy to house them. We gave them dry clothes, food for the night, and a rather fast friendship was forged. As we quickly began to notice, they weren't just rabble off the street. They themselves were highborn as we were, and in a very dire circumstance. So we let them in. They stayed for but a week. We showed them about the western side of Wildmount and let them on their way. And since then, we've had many different years we've spent together as families, going on various journeys and trips together. But as time went on, we got busy on our own in separate ways, and we hadn't spoken in a while. They were in the process of discussing the building of the Ariel Bridge about 5 years ago, and we were going to meet with them about pursuing this venture as a joint. Well, when disease took them and the family passed on, we were surprised that they would have considered leaving Whitestone in our name, and we couldn't say no at this point. Carry on their legacy, I felt, was important enough, let alone the memory of that to carry on the building of this Uriel Bridge. I felt I really wanted to spearhead the wishes of Frederick.
You were telling us about that poor family that came down with that disease. you know, I'm just curious, coming from a medical family. What was the disease that they had?
They look at each other and they kind of like give a sorrowful look and we do not know. We were only given the information that the family had passed, but a month or two after it already had occurred.
Gosh.
And the entire family, all of them.
Most of the castle seem to have fallen to it as well.
So dreadful.
Probably diarrhea.
With what Uriel says, my condolences, by the way. I understand that's very hard. It's all right. The least we could do is try and carry on the legacy.
I know how hard it is to lose someone very close to you. I'm sorry for your loss.
It's appreciated. Looks at his wife. She kind of looks up for a second. It's all right.
Are they whispering to themselves at all?
As part of the discussion's happening, there's a few side exchanges here and there. The best you can make from the citizens, things like, did you notice him?
Oh.
Someone says, yes, don't worry. And like, tonight we'll stay. And those are the only things you're able to make out from the little exchanges back and forth. As you follow them, they go to the door. The guards open the door for them and lead them into their room, and then close the door.
Oh, that fast, all right. How close to the door are the guards?
They're
Right up against it?
Not like against it, but immediately to the right and left of it.
Assam or whatever his name
I
is.
yank off my serpent belt and throw it as far as I can. Not as far as I can, like 20 feet, and set it in motion. So there's now a snake in the hole 20 feet in front of these guys.
All right. You take it and you throw the snake. So yeah, you take the belt, fling it. The snake appears on the side. One of the guards looks over. So the other guard, he pulls out his weapon, and one of the guards steps over to where the serpent is, and it starts like trying to stomp it out, and it kind of like snips up and gets some of the armor, and he just ends up stomping out the.
So one's 20 feet away now?
About 25 feet away, yeah.
25 feet away, and one guy stayed.
Yeah.
Kill him.
I drop, and I'm going to bean him on the head like his name is Kynan. Beaner damage.
You whack right to the side of the helmet. The dull sound just falls like a sack of potatoes right against the wall.
Hand on the door. Is it locked? Is it locked? Is it locked?
The door is currently not locked. You can see one of the guard had the guard you just knocked out had the key in his hand.
Yeah.
And was in the process of going to lock the door right when that happened.
Okay, so I just flip my hood over my head, and I just quietly go in the door.
And on the far end, you can see now against one of the tables is Lady Briarwood is currently taking jewelry off of one of her arms, while Lord Briarwood is right by the bed, holding on kind of the post, like he's kind of just walked over that area.
They're both at the bed?
They're both at the bed,
All right.
and they're both looking in your direction.
Got a 25 for stealth?
Yep.
Yeah, didn't work.
Both looking in your direction.
All right. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I heard a noise in here. I work for the city. I apologize. That was really stupid. As you were.
Make
walk
a
in.
deception check.
Sure. I'll use my last luck of the day. Did it do it? Same thing. 9, 11.
11?
Yeah.
Lord Briarwood goes, oh, well, that's all right. Not to worry, in no serious rush. Isn't that right, my dear? And she kind of looks over, she stops taking her jewelry off and turns. Yes, of course. As you, a man who works for the city.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for the city, if I may ask?
Oh, I'm a guard. I mean, there's not really a name for what I do. I work for Uriel. I'm security, man. And I thought I heard noise in here. And I heard a body fall, I thought. Sounded like a body fell.
They both kind of step a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at you.
I'm backing up as I'm talking. I'm right at the door.
You back up to the door right there, and
I didn't shut it behind me. I just kind of cracked it open.
right.
Yeah, all right.
Lady Briarwood goes,
Yep.
You look strangely similar to a gentleman we just had dinner with.
That's crazy.
It's uncanny
how similar you look.
Yeah. And I run. I ran.
You get to make a wisdom save, is what you're
Jenga!
It's not good. It's an 8.
You turn to move, and your muscles tense up as you're unable
Oh, they're holding
to
you.
physically move.
This is awkward, ma'am. I'm just trying to do my job.
You're halfway through the doorway, stuck in place, as she keeps walking forward now. You have a curious look. Lord Briarwood kind of comes and flanks you from the other side.
You try and flee. I'm merely asking you questions. Come, let us discuss in more private quarters.
And you feel the hand of Lord Briarwood slam on your other shoulder.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You look delicious.
And he pulls you into the room as she closes the door behind. And that's where we're going to end.
Why? Why do you do these things?
Jenga! We had a safe word for a reason!
Jenga! No!
That's cool.